Well, I'm really just so flattered and honored to be honored by the Algemeiner Association. It's really just happened organically and naturally over the past year with, the rise in anti-Semitism and anti-Semitic hate crimes all over the United States. I found appalling and horrifying, just like any rational, normal, decent human being would. And then working in media, I was really horrified by sort of the lack of outrage. We've had such a sea shift and sea change over the past few years, talking about, racism, homophobia, all forms of prejudice and oppression. And for some reason, it's a lot harder for people to speak out when it comes to anti-Semitism. I don't understand it, and I think it's horrific. And then obviously the recent events in Israel. I've always called myself a Zionist. I grew up in a family that defined themselves as Zionist. It didn't even occur to me that was something controversial anymore. I said it on the View, the show I was working on, and it had such an intense reaction from people, both positive and negative, that I just thought this is clearly a space that has changed, and that if you have a voice, that you should use it. And that's basically what happened. And then it just kind of went from there. And then my really good friend, Daniela Greenbaum, who is around here, she's right there. She was my producer at The View, and she's a very, energetic and enthusiastic Zionist and pro-Israel advocate as well. And she's really been my, partner in crime and been really, an amazing sister to me throughout all of this. She's introducing me tonight, and really, she's, inspired me to really speak out. It's really scary and it's really sad, and I wish more people felt more courageous. It's not so bad, speaking out and being an advocate. No one should be scared. It's the right thing to do, and I sleep well at night, and I know where I stand, and clearly I'm in a room full of like-minded people, which is wonderful.
What do you like about the Algemeiner?
I mean, it's an incredible, publication, and I think the writings, the writers, and the message that it gives is so important in this moment. And, it's a really iconic, do you call it it's a magazine online publication as well, but it's, it's been around forever. And when I looked at the people you have honored in the past, like Jesse Eisenberg and Eli Wiesel and Gary Kasparov, I just feel like I can't believe I'm on this list of people. So it's really, I'm just so honored and so excited.
Why do you think it's important for Jewish people to have a voice?
Because it's a very small minority in the world, but also in America. And I think that, again, for whatever reason, and I have felt ignorant over the past few years that, again, I just assumed that anti-Semitism is bad and we were all on the same page with that. And I think when you see the shift happening culturally in the radical far right and the radical far left, and some of the insanity that has seeped, from the bowels of society into more mainstream, I think it's important for not just Jews, but Jews and allies to speak out and be very defiant and strong and direct in your advocacy, because a lot of people are wavering in a way that shocks me and grosses me out and has been surprising. And again, when you see hate crimes rising, the incidents that happened in New York City over the past year, and some of the hate crimes that happened in Manhattan and Midtown, friends of mine, I was worried about them walking around New York City with yarmulkes on. I was worried about girlfriends of mine who wear Jewish stars proudly, diamond necklaces. And I don't want to live in a society where people have to worry about that in New York City, any place, but especially in New York City and major cities. And it was the first time for me, just in my adult life, in a modern way, felt fear for my friends, which is so insane and horrible and disgusting and scary. And, I think all advocacy comes from a personal space, being personally impacted. And, I interviewed Joey Borgen, who is the hate crime victim. He was beaten up in Midtown for wearing a yarmulke by a pro-Palestinian mob. And again, I was shocked that he didn't get more media attention. I was shocked that he wasn't plastered everywhere as a really horrific hate crime that happened to a young man in Midtown. And there wasn't the outrage that I had hoped. Senator Schumer didn't even call him. That's an issue.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I could talk forever. So thank you.
I know you spoke so beautifully. I don't want to.
No.